With 400,000 more, he wants to buy a false sense of security that if he runs the high-profile auto shop, everything will go better than usual. Today I'm going to talk more about the workshops in question. Heavy stuff, heavy stuff. How can I talk about the workshops? Well, let's say there are about 5 to 10 workshops in Brazil, which I'll call high-profile auto shops. So what is a high-profile auto shop? It's a well-known shop with a strong social media presence and everyone knows it. But it doesn't always deliver in the sense of having 100% consistency, of delivering all the cars with the same quality. And I've already been to a big, reputable, high-profile auto shop. But still well known, there was another pickup truck there that came from another high-profile auto shop. And it was there to fix the mistakes that high-profile auto shop made. And high-profile shop 2 was there just to redo the mistakes that high-profile auto shop made. Very poorly done. I saw it with my own eyes. Nobody told me. And the shop that was fixing it said, don't record, don't show, let's not show it. And I said, of course we won't show it. And I've always had this ethic of never exploiting what went wrong at auto shops. You see that I never kept pointing out the mistakes. My job wasn't about causing trouble or making enemies, so I always stayed neutral and even respected the mistakes made by the auto shops. So we never exploited that part. Because even as it is, I would get into a lot of trouble. I already get into trouble just trying to stay neutral. Just imagine if I started pointing out other people's mistakes, right? This didn't just happen once, all right? There were a few times when we ended up showing the shop saying this here came from another shop to fix, that it didn't turn out well, but in this particular shop, man, I used to say, wow, these guys make such good pickups, right? He said, yeah, that's right. You see, it happens, right? I said, no, it can't happen, right? A shop that everyone knows sets up a stand in Lindoya. Giant. The guy delivers a pickup truck with the hood flying up and almost hitting the guy's windshield on the road, and you say, man, that's weird, right? So I started to realize, man, that there are fancy repair shops that don't have 100% efficiency. Not every car that comes out of there is 100%, and we make the mistake of wanting to restore the car. In these fancy repair shops, just because they have a name, because they're famous, because they have a big Instagram following, and then we end up making that mistake, right? Thinking that only the fancy repair shops, just those 5 or 10 shops in Brazil, are the ones that will deliver a good car. And that's not what happens. It's not like that. Although there are fancy repair shops that I believe deliver 100%, there are also fancy shops that don't. Their Instagram is booming, the guys aren't super famous. I'll mention names at the end of this video to make it easier for you to understand where I'm going with this video. All right, let's go. You can hear me well, right? It's good like this, isn't it? It's pretty choppy there. I don't know if you'll be able to hear. Well, today's topic is a bit sensitive. Just letting you know, it's going to be a bit of a sensitive topic maybe for some people, but let's go. You choose the workshops you want. I just think we should. I think even I, with the work I do, have to warn you, financially speaking, about how we can make better choices. I don't know if your Brazil is in a different economic situation than mine, because it seems like everyone has their own Brazil, right? In our current situation, my Brazil, economically it's really dangerous, so I would never put my money at risk. Choosing a workshop based on the number of followers or by price, we tend to want to choose the most expensive one. We have this habit of buying brand name stuff. It's normal. I'm like that too. If there's a pair of Nike shorts and a pair of unbranded shorts, we're going to choose the Nike one, even if it's more expensive. We have this thing, that's how consumer behavior works, and I think the same thing is happening with old cars too. I'm not here to crucify the shops, whether they're famous or not, whether they have more followers than others or not. But the shops that charge more aren't always doing the best work or delivering the best services. I've seen this happen with my own eyes, and I've seen a lot of shops that don't have a social media presence or can't really handle social media, doing fantastic work. Small shops, neighborhood shops, independent shops doing it for a third of the price. And man, there are shops out there charging absurd prices just because they became famous or did some really good projects, and they don't always deliver all those projects. But today it's almost impossible to sell or restore a car in those places, precisely because these guys have become almost unreachable for some people's budgets. And in my opinion, I don't know if that makes much sense. So I think we have to be very smart about choosing where to restore and what to do. The type of car, so we don't end up in a situation where the price is absurd and we pay for something that doesn't make much sense. And when people ask me, and it seems like they kind of get disappointed with my answer, like they want to hear something that's safer, they want to pay 400,000 more. But you know, I did it with so-and-so over there, the one everyone went to, everyone knows him, man, he's famous. So the guy thinks that by paying 200, 400,000 more, it's guaranteed to work out. And the guy just leaves the car there, doesn't really care, puts it in the shop's hands and lets whatever happens happen. And I think people are mistaken about that, and we tend to think that the more expensive one is better, but it's not. I'll tell you, it's not. People say a lot that it's ending, and I agree a little in part. But look at how many good guys are still out there, how many small shops are trying to make their mark out there, outside the hype around those 5 or 10 shops. So I think it's worth getting to know, researching and understanding the car you have, the shop you're going to take it to, the background of the guy you're hiring to work on your car, and keeping a close eye on it, because the prices are getting higher and higher. And you don't want to take your car to a place just because it's famous or because your friend went there and it worked out. You're taking a different kind of car. It's a different kind of shop. What's your relationship with this workshop? What are they promising you? What are they going to deliver? Look, in the last few days, I've become an information desk. And people don't really want to listen. No, they just want one truth, which is the one they've already chosen, and that's it. You know that in these past 5 years, I worked hard to get to know, to visit, to showcase, to show everything that was in our country. There you go. When it comes to classic cars, I traveled a lot. Man, several states, several cities, it was an endless job, right? Just to show you that I'm not here to say that I have all the answers or that I'm always right. This is really more of a warning for you, you know? Because I'm seeing a trend repeating itself, and it caught my attention. I thought, man, I need to make a video about this so people can understand. Understand that this classic car market, it can fool people. It's not a joke, and it involves money, our money. So I think it's worth showing this to you so you can also be alert, you know, and you don't fall for it. Guys, Bashik, a lawyer in mistakes of wrong choices. So today I'm going to talk about something that's happening a lot so you can understand what the idea of this video is. It's dark. Thanks, it's cool, it's down below. Look, the bat one. The front looks exactly like a bat. All right, man, thanks, it's down below. I don't think so, around there. I don't even know, maybe about 200 meters. All right, thanks, appreciate it. Same to you, thanks. 2, man, and the guys who don't even know each other, look, let's leave a GSI. And a silver, look at that. 2 guys, man, you don't play fair like that. Oops, thanks. Congrats, it's looking good there too, thanks. Black GSI convertible and the silver one coming over there. Look, the silver one came. Nice, man. Which cadet was from the Olympics or the World Cup? It was a cadet to Rim, right? Let him pass here. There. Pingando óleo. Oh, pingando óleo. All right, thanks. Too bad I can't show it to you guys. Wow, this is so dirty, man. Look at my rally wheel. It's brand new. Look how nice it is. See? This is what I was talking about. It would be good to fix and get rid of this. There's some down here too. I don't know if you can see it. I wanted to take a look at this here. Look. You know, since we're already working there, we could fix up this part here too, look. It's nothing critical, right? Actually, I've had this car for almost 10 years and there's really nothing critical about it, but this here now looks really bad. But really, it's really bad. I think it's time to be responsible and get it fixed so I can sell the car for a good price, right? Maybe give some attention to these rubber parts here. Maybe take the opportunity to remove these trims here and finally fix them. Make one and match the trims here. Polish it, right? Let's see. People are coming to me a lot. Precisely because I've had this huge experience over these 5 years of checking out all kinds of things, and they're coming to me to get tips, to get recommendations, to want to know where to do this, where to do that. And you know what I realize? That sometimes people, they already have the answer, they already know what it is. But they come to ask me, you know, even so they want to clear something up, ask. I don't know if you guys know, but at the beginning of the pandemic, I started reading a lot about philosophy and human behavior. I picked up this habit of studying philosophy. And to this day, I still read a lot about it. And one of the things I read about it is that we humans, we have this habit of always wanting to be right. We don't want to be wrong. We don't want to admit that we're wrong. And man, if you think about it, it's really true. We don't want to admit it. We always want to be right. We want to think we're right all the time. We want to believe in our own truth, to convince ourselves that our choices were right based on what we thought was right. That's why we make a lot of mistakes. So when people come to question me about some things, it seems like they already have the answer, but even so, they still want to hear it from me. So I always recommend, I always say, I try to be as clear as possible, as transparent as possible when recommending someone or some service. But then, man, it seems like everything I said or all the answers I gave, if it wasn't what the guy wanted to hear, it seems like everything I said was useless. So what I said doesn't matter. Because the guy wanted to hear what he wanted to hear. He wanted to hear what he already had in mind. And I started to notice that in the conversations. Can you see by? The conversation that the guy already, oh no, but then no. But I saw that it can be done this way and I don't keep insisting, you know? I point people in the right direction. I speak based on what I've seen and my experiences, but I don't keep saying do this, do that, you have to do this, do that. It's official. I'm going to get the dart ready to sell. I'm going to turn it around and put it in the light. Here I'm going to show a problem that really bothers me that I want to fix before selling, and it ends here. The problem starts inside the trunk and ends here, which is a leak. It probably starts here and goes down into the trunk over there. And there's also the issue of the battery being here, which ends up corroding and ends here. I'd like to sell the car without this issue to make it a better deal for whoever buys it. Not having to worry about fixing and doing this body work, and maybe we can even fix these uglier spots, but really that's all. Other than that, there's not much else to do. You just take it and drive. There's something else about this car that I've never mentioned. I'm sure this car deserves a cooler steering wheel, really, I'm sure of it. But look how things are, even talking about this price thing, how much things cost here in Brazil, car stuff, Dodge stuff. The other day in our WhatsApp group there was a big mess because someone posted that set of taillights for sale. Did you guys see that? The original set of Dodge taillights for 12,500 reais. Then someone posted it there. One person defended it. Another criticized it. I couldn't keep up at one point. My phone had 800 messages. It even ended up with a guy being removed. He started talking a lot of nonsense. And he ended up being permanently excluded from the group. Like what, for example? A Wallroad steering wheel would look nicer, but have you seen the price of one of those steering wheels? Does it make sense? I never cared. I never worried about having a nicer steering wheel there. I never bothered to look for a road steering wheel. Man, I left the Dodge with the steering wheel it came with. It was never something that appealed to me, having to change the look of the steering wheel. Because they use that as if it were a $2,000 steering wheel. We even think now, I don't even know how much a steering wheel like that costs. So there are things we don't need to suffer for. There are things it's better not to put ourselves through just to have. Including the whole restoration thing, depending on the car you have. You don't need to do a restoration just to go win an award at Pebble Beach. By the way, I'm going to make a side note here with all due respect, but really with all due respect to PJS here in Sao Paulo, in the city of Casablanca. A place like that, the countryside of Sao Paulo, it's kind of far from everything, isn't it? Campinas, Vinhedo, Itu, you know, the landscape there is already different. It changes. The roadside is all flat fields. Man, it's really crazy there. In the middle, there's PJS. This year, PJS won an award at Pebble Beach for the most luxurious car made and shown at the event. Think about the importance and the greatness of winning an award like that at Pebble Beach, which is the most prestigious concours d'elegance in the world. There in California, every year it's on a whole other level when it comes to rebuilding and restoring classic cars. There, I've seen it, I know it, I can guarantee you that the quality there is something impressive. They're not a fancy shop that's chasing likes or followers. Their work is serious, it's beyond the hype, it's more than just social media stuff, it's more than just being at a booth. In Lindoya, it's way beyond that, even though they're there every year in Lindoya and they win awards. So if you're really going to spend money, I mean, I don't even know how much a restoration at PJS costs. But if you really intend to invest some money to make a show car to actually win awards, take it to PJS, take it there because you can't go wrong with them. One day you'll get to know the guy's shop and you'll understand the level of work these guys do. I said I was going to comment, mention names. So here is my tribute, my big hug to Pedro Catasio, Mr. Pedro, everyone at PJS who does a fantastic job. This is not a recommendation. I'm not getting anything for this, but if you ever want to get a quote to have a car made for you, a classic car, I've seen them come out of there. Pontiac pickup truck, National Dodge GTO. Ow. Opal. Talking about pre-war ones. The stuff there is wild, but still look how crazy, look how crazy. There was a person who, quite rudely actually, two people who stood out to me. One of them said, "What's that shop over there? Kind of like a party hall that you go to?" I said, "That's Demetrio, where my cars are made, where they make really good cars," and he was kind of taken aback, you know? The guy, he asked, kind of almost making fun of it, you know? So, I asked Demetrio's permission here to say the following to you. I asked Demetrio's permission because here's the thing, Demetrio's Z28, there man, it's that fancy workshop in a huge warehouse, shiny floors, everything painted white or black around. Have you seen Demetrio's workshop? What's it like, dude? It's a big backyard, one guy working, his team has been with him for 15, 20 years, it never changes. Good guy. Have you seen the cars that come out of Demetrio's shop? Have you seen the experience he puts into each car, into every trip? That he has the opportunity to talk here with us? And then people don't want to, oh no, I'm sure there are people who are embarrassed to say their car's in a shop just because the shop isn't all fancy. Because the guy wants to buy it for 400,000 more. He wants to buy it. A false sense of security that if he takes it to a fancy shop, everything will go better than usual. Then we spend 200, 300,000 more just to buy this false sense of security. That there I'm safe, there I'm fine, I know it's going to work out. So if you'll excuse me, I thank Demetrio once again for speaking, man. What am I showing you there, man? Could I be any more explicit than what I've been doing there with Demetrio? To show you guys that place is more than just a fancy shop. The place is almost like a technical school for classic cars. The guy gives you absolutely everything. So when I recommend Demetrio, I don't know what doubts people still have, honestly. I don't know, man, how the other one went. The other one, I don't remember. I just know they kind of asked about Demetrio. So I don't know what else I need to do. I have fun going there. The videos flow naturally, so I think it's worth it for you guys to look for it with more care, with more attention. Near you, there's probably someone who works on cars, so you don't need spending 200, 300,000 more to send it to a shop far from you just because those guys are famous, because they did it. I warn you, be careful. Not everything is as it seems. I've seen a lot of good shops get messed up. I've seen a lot of shops fixing cars that came from other places. That's completely normal. There was this guy and I was like, man, I saw the guy's cars. I used to say I want to send my Dodge there one day, and I kept trying to get the guy to do it, you know? And the guy didn't want my car. Now I can't, I don't know, because he didn't want me to send the car there. And I was just kind of trying to talk to him, see if one day he would fix it, paint my whole Dodge. It was clear that the guy didn't want to. Actually, it's very common for people not to want to work on my cars. Não sei se por causa da exposição, because they don't like me, and that's fine. One day I was at another shop and there was one of those guys' cars there to be fixed. I said, wow, that was a real letdown, damn, but I had only seen good cars from them, and the guy said, yeah, us too. We were surprised that this car showed up here and had been done by them. One fender was bigger than the other. I said, wow, that's weird. So, you know, be careful with these choices so we don't get screwed. It's very easy for us to be fooled, to go with our emotions. We need to be very careful. I'm getting ready to fix the Dodge here. Obviously my first choice for everything I think about doing with cars, Demetrio is the first person who comes to mind. I just don't know if he'll be able to fit my car in there. I've already taken up a lot of his space and his time. You see the work that the F100 is taking there. So I don't know, I have to be careful, talk to him, see if he would do it, if it won't get in the way. I don't want to be pushy or a bother by sending my car there all the time, you know? I'm even talking here, Demetrio, with you without having arranged anything, but it's something I want to fix so I can sell the car well, and I would really like him to do it. I trust him a lot. I would send anyone there with my eyes closed, and I even send people there without hesitation. Although I know there are people who don't want to hear the truth, people want the hype. To be included in this crazy market, which ends up making millions of dollars out there, it's good. We're being smart so we don't end up falling into a trap. Because, for example, Demetrio, he fixes the car, man. He does it once. You don't see the cars coming back. You don't see cars he's worked on being fixed somewhere else. If there is, you guys can call me out on Instagram and say, Lucas, that's not really how it is. We've already seen this, and that, which was done at Demetrio's. I'll share it with him because the guy, man, he's got guts. He's sharp. It's total transparency, and that's what you should look for in any service you hire. If you're in doubt, don't send it. Wait, be careful and buy good and straight cars because that will really help your work.